Hello, welcome to the Mystery Channel. I'm Brunswick Coriopolis the 14th. Today on the show, we'll be looking at the Civil War ironclads, the Monitor and the Merrimack. These two vessels in one day had changed the face of naval history forever, and now their story.
On October 4th, 1861, the United States Navy placed an order for a new warship named the Monitor. This was the third ship of its kind made for the United States of America, a new kind of ship, not made out of wood, but out of iron. The new style was designed by Swedish engineer John Ericsson. The ship consisted of a heavy, rotating gun turret on the deck housing two large Dahlgren cannons. A small pilot house and detachable smokestack was about all one could see above the water. The armored deck barely rose above water level as to prevent damage from cannon fire. The ship was constructed at the Continental Iron Works in Brooklyn, New York, and launched on the 30th of January, 1862. The Monitor was a vessel of firsts. It was the first to be fitted with Ericsson's marine screw. The design was completely different from wooden ships. Most of the vessel was underwater, making it the first semi-submersible ships. Its design would greatly influence the design of submarines. The boat eventually became a prototype for the Monitor-style warship, which served in the Civil War and post-Civil War Navy up to 1937. The only downfall of the Monitor was its low freeboard. The low freeboard often flooded and was submerged in rough waters. This fault in design would lead to its demise. When Virginia seceded from the Union in 1861, the federal military base Gosport Shipyard in Virginia was under the threat of attack. Rather than to let this important base fall into Confederate hands, the order was sent to burn the base as well as all ships docked there. One of the ships that was set afire was the steamboat the USS Merrimack. However, the ship sunk before it was completely burnt. When the Confederates arrived at the shipyard, they raised the Merrimack and the decision was made to use it as a skeleton for an ironclad warship. The Confederates named their new ship the CSS Virginia. It boasted an iron casement and deck 4 inches thick. To conserve gunpowder and an optimistic feeling that cannons could not hurt a boat of iron, they equipped the Virginia with a battering ram. With faulty engines and the crew still working on finishing the boat, it was placed into service. On the morning of March 8, 1862, the CSS Virginia quietly steamed into Hampton Roads, Virginia, where it encountered a Union blockade. The Virginia quickly headed straight for the blockade. When she was within less than a mile from the wooden ship, the USS Cumberland, she opened fire. Heading straight for the Cumberland, the Virginia rammed right into it. The Cumberland took on water and quickly sank. The Virginia's next victim was the USS Congress. The Congress tried to get away from the Merrimack by moving to shallow waters. The two ships traded fire for about an hour, and then the badly damaged Congress surrendered. The Virginia fired a red-hot shot at the Congress, and the shot exploded its magazine. That day was victorious for the Merrimack, although it did not get away without its own wounds. However, the tides are about to turn. That night, the USS Monitor steamed into Hampton Roads and awaited the arrival of the Merrimack the next morning. The next morning, March 9, 1862, the repaired Virginia returned to finish off the Union blockade, mainly the USS Minnesota. When the Virginia arrived at Hampton Roads, it found that the way was blocked by the USS Monitor. Fighting between the ironclads went on for hours. Neither ship could do significant damage to the other. The story is best told by Jonathan Millstone, who witnessed this whole clash of ironclads.
I witnessed the Virginia come into Hampton Roads and head directly toward the Union's blockade. It quickly rammed into the USS Cumberland and sank it. Then the Virginia went at the USS Congress. They fought for at least an hour, but then the badly damaged Congress surrendered. The day's victory was clearly the Virginia's. The next day, the Virginia attacked the Union's iron warship, the Monitor. They fought for many hours back and forth, but no major damage could be done to either ships. The massive Virginia was much more colossal than the Monitor, as it looked like a chase of cat and mouse. Unfortunately for the Southerners, the Virginias retreated and left Hampton Roads to them darn Yankees.
During the 2 months that followed, the Merrimack made numerous trips to Hampton Roads to attempt to lure the Monitor into a fight. However, the Monitor was under strict orders from President Lincoln not to fire unless it was absolutely unavoidable. The two ships never fought again. A Union Navy man stationed on the Monitor recalls his experience at Hampton Roads.
We were ready for the Merrimack. We blocked it from destroying the Minnesota, even though it has been called basically a cheese box on a raft. It was enough to stop the rebels. We were ordered not to fire on the Merrimack. However, they tried to lure us into battle for months. We never did battle the Merrimack again. The Monitor was a safe and secure ship. We never had any problems with it while I was serving on the vessel.
A Confederate soldier who wishes to remain nameless also recalls the account of the clash of the ironclads from his standpoint on the Virginia.
We headed straight for the Yankee blockade. We was the first to fire. We ran straight into that there Yankee ship, the Cumberland, and quickly sunk it. After that, we went to the Congress and beaten it up. We was a little damaged, but ended up the heroes. We went back to our territory then. The next day, them darn Yankees brought that hunk of iron to fight us. After firing for a while, we did bail. We tried for a while, but them there Yankees weren't none good enough to fire back. We never did see them on there again, and our ship was burned to keep from capture. It's true.
The Monitor and the Merrimack never saw each other again. The Monitor was lost at sea in rough waters off the coast of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina in December of 1862. The Merrimack was ran aground and set afire at Craney Island to avoid capture. The ship was completely lost when, after an hour of burning, its magazine exploded. These two ships changed the course of naval history forever. In one day, all wooden warships across the globe were now obsolete. We close with a quote from Captain Dahlgren. "Now comes the reign of iron, and case slopes are to take the place of wooden ships."